Viva Mexico, explorers!
Hola.
Welcome to Exploregonians, Travel Misadventures podcast.
I'm Katie.
I'm Jordan.
And on this week's episode, we make a friend on an airplane, and then we hang out with her parents as they drive us around Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah, it gave us like a tour. Explorers, this is, I think, one of the best episodes we've ever done. I'm very proud of the content. I'm very proud of the experience that we had in Ciudad de Mexico, and humbled.
Listen as we talk shop.
And eat our way across Ciudad de Mexico.
Apparently, we went to a dance class.
Apparently. We also went to their anthropological museum, which, chef's kiss.
And we saw a really exotic animal in the zoo.
Not a Mexican animal. You have to hear all about it on this week's very special episode, all dedicated to Ciudad de Mexico.
Woo!
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hola, explorers.
Hola!
To, I think, a very special episode of the Exploregonians podcast.
I think it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while.
And I think it kind of re-energized us to talk about it this week. So, explorers, I'm your co-host, Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And we're married blissfully.
Blissfully.
Yeah, she's not tied up.
What?
What?
My God.
Okay. What's up, Katie? What's going on? It's November.
It is the beginning of November. I am bundled up. I am not warm.
I mean, you're not that bundled up. You're in a pair of sweats and a hoodie.
Thick socks, and I'm recording with my hood on. The headphones are over the hood, which is a first.
Yeah, it's a look. I like it.
Well, it's warming me up.
So, Katie, I'd like to express from all the explorers and me, happy belated birthday.
Oh my God. Thank you. I have crossed over to the next year.
To the next level.
To the next year older.
How's it feel?
Good.
I think it's been hitting you a little bit, this one, because you're not like someone that worries about age.
No. I just think, people are like, oh, how old are you? And I usually rely on Jordan to tell me my age.
I'm a good secretary.
You are.
And I'm
Excellent.
also really good at telling women's ages.
Wow. You just got those math skills, and I'm like, no.
Speaking of skills with like guessing things with women, you've reminded me.
No.
No, I have to say it.
I hate this.
I was in college with the worst person. I'm not going to say everything, but he had a gift is what he presented it as. And he would tell everybody.
All men think they have a gift.
Ironically, this was I think it was an interpersonal communications course in college. So, I mean, this right there is going to tell you that this guy needed to stay in that. I think he needed to take that class again. So he stands up during like a break and he just announces, and this is like a younger guy, I mean, college age. And he's like, I bet I can tell any women their weight within 4 pounds. And everyone, like, he just sucked the air out of the whole room.
Could he do it?
Well, I don't think nobody took him up on it. Which is
maybe
kind
we
of a
should
bummer.
get a hold of him.
I don't know his name.
Well, I thought you were going to tell a different horrendous story. So
Which
yeah.
one?
No. Let's move on.
That guy
I
also-
would rather talk about Mexico City.
Why would you talk about Mexico City? This episode is clearly about Las
That
Vegas,
guy.
Nevada. Yeah, it's about this guy. the This Guy podcast. Fine.
Fine.
Let's transition. I'd love to talk about a place. In this place, we found out that Mexico City really isn't its name.
Right.
Ciudad de Mexico.
Who
which
told
is-
you that?
I don't remember.
I just feel like when we were like talking about going or looking it up, but then we're like, wait, it's not called Mexico City?
I don't want to
Anyway.
go anymore. Ciudad de Mexico is such a sexier name.
It's way better.
Mm-hmm. So Mexico City was kind of bundled as not an afterthought, but like in addition to a trip that we took in 2019 to celebrate your cousin's Dirty 30. They wasn't presented as that at all.
Yeah, we went to Mexico and we were elsewhere, and then we ended up ditching them and going.
Well, ditching them because
Well,
they went home.
They flew home.
So I guess they ditched us.
And we decided to hop on a plane and go to Ciudad de Mexico.
So we flew from Puerto Vallarta. And so, man, my accent's going to be awesome.
You know what? We're going to try our best.
So Katie and I, you probably know, we're two people. And so in a row of three on a plane, there's room for a third. So our seatmate was like taking a lot of pictures as we were.
She was hogging the window.
She was.
We were trying to see how beautiful it was outside, but she was just she took so many photos. And so we kind of got to enjoy it by looking at her phone.
And then afterwards she pulls back and definitely apologizes.
Yeah. So that was good. And we strike up a conversation. We find out that she is like a wedding
wedding planner.
Yeah, for weddings in Puerto Vallarta.
And wouldn't you know it, it sounds like she does some pretty cool ones.
Yeah, and so she was like fun and energetic, and she was going to Mexico City to visit her parents.
And so Puerto Vallarta to Mexico City, I mean, it wasn't a super long flight. I mean, what do you think? Like a couple hours?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
So, yeah, we're just like, she's enthusiastically telling us about, her hometown, a place that she has a lot of pride for. And she gives us like this huge list of things to do, a list that we could never have possibly accomplished because we were only in Mexico City for 3 days.
Right.
Which is not enough time.
No, this was like, oh, can we squeeze this in? Anyway, and no, but also yes, right?
So we have a great time with this woman. We are still I'm currently friends with her on social media. So
wow.
we still,
that's right.
There's like that fun connection that's still there. So we land, we're like grabbing our stuff. We only have carry-ons. And so we're peacing out. She finds us afterwards and is like, oh, well, I mean, you guys, where are you staying? So we kind of tell her where we're staying. And she's like, well, do you want to ride? And we're like, well, sure.
Yeah, her parents are picking her up and they've offered to give us a ride.
And so maybe don't always take those invitations from anybody who offers to give you a ride, but definitely we felt out that situation and we had built a nice relationship with this person and no bells or whistles were going off that she was going to like take my kidney.
Wow. I don't know. I think that there's way more people that are good. They want to do good. They want to help you. And I think that traveling, I think it triggers, it's like stranger danger, right? Like people are so afraid of others. I mean, even when you're not traveling, God, walking down the street, being in the store.
Where do you think a lot of that comes from? Like the travel fear?
I don't know if it comes from movies or just like also, where the news or like the stories that gain traction
for tourists,
right, are like the most heinous. Like, I don't know. And it's the thing that circulates. And so people are like, oh, you want to travel? You know what I know about traveling? Or the story I've heard? And so it's so isolated and it's just like, I don't know. Not everybody is out to get you. And, believe it or not everybody in Mexico wishes they were in the United States.
Yeah, they're not all like lining up along the border, like banging to get in.
So anyway, I have a pretty good gut. I have a pretty good gut.
You do got a pretty good gut. Your instincts are borderline flawless.
I think my instincts are pretty good. I think Jordan's getting a lot better.
I've got a good teacher.
Yeah. And I think it's just like listening to your heart and right. It's like you feel like it's okay and it's a safe situation. So anyway, we get in the car.
And I think her parents, they didn't speak English, but I think we're very surprised that their daughter had brought these two white Americans. And they're like, oh, by the way, we're giving them a ride. So not only do they give us a ride, but they also kind of like take us on a tour.
Yeah, which was really like a really fun introduction to Mexico City, like just being able to drive and for them to like point out whatever. I think help orient us.
I mean, just barely, because Mexico City
is huge.
It is the largest metro area on North America. It is the population of like greater Mexico City is 9 million people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's massive. I mean, the superlatives of Mexico City can't be stressed enough. It's the oldest capital in North America. It is the largest, and it's also like the highest elevation.
Yeah.
It is, I think, like 7,400 feet above sea level, which is like 2,000 feet more than Denver.
Wow.
And so people are like, oh, Denver, that's like really high. Mexico City blows it out of the water. There's like all this information about, these professional athletes who play in Mexico City. It's like their cardiovascular health is ridiculous.
Wow.
But Mexico City is also situated in what's known as the Valley of Mexico. And so because it's in a valley, it does trap a lot of smog. So it is a very polluted area. Obviously, a lot of people, a lot of emissions. It's in a valley.
Well, and then it was like, what was up with the water? Because, I mean, I feel like before we went, it was like, watch out for the water. And then we stayed somewhere that our host...
And we were doing it on the cheap. Like, we got a very cheap place. But we had intentionally, this is not great, but we intentionally stayed at one of the, more gentrified areas of Mexico City. And that's generally like La Condesa, Roma Norte. Like, those are definitely two of the more glamorous districts of Mexico City. So I think we were in Roma Norte. And so we'd stayed in, it was like a little apartment. Like, it was nothing special, but the streets were cute. I mean, I felt like I was in some weird, like, Latin American New York City.
I've definitely felt like New York City for sure.
Yeah, the water situation was like, don't drink tap water. Don't drink tap water.
So we had this like, very basic little sink that had this enormous filtration system.
I mean, it was like a foot tall of like a cylinder.
And then it would basically like drip out like just a tiny amount of water. And so it took a while to fill up, a glass to drink or anything. Anyway, so, okay, water, Mexico City. Let's go back to the car. We're getting the tour.
They take us through like the Zocalo, which is the large like public square in Mexico City. It's I think one of the largest in the world. It's like this massive cathedral is on one side. It's also like their federal buildings. So it's this huge public square, and it's like, and the architecture is like hundreds of years old. I mean, it is stupid gorgeous.
It's really extravagant, and I think pretty freaking impressive.
And so
anyway.
they're pointing things out, trying to like orient us, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're staying in this hotel. Do you guys like donuts?"
And we're like, "What? Yeah."
And so apparently they wanted to take us to donuts because it was like, I don't know, 2 blocks from where we were staying. And like this woman had already been telling us about this donut thing because these people went on the Mexican version of Shark Tank. Because guess what? Mexico's civilized and they have things like Shark Tank, which is a show where entrepreneurs pitch their thing. So this group came.
And they didn't win. And
right.
so, but the people had spoken, and
the society.
Yeah, they got a bunch of people to support it, like a not a GoFundMe, what's it called? Like crowdsourcing. Crowdfunding. So a bunch of people backed this idea, and they were able to open
the Secret Donut Society, which doesn't look like anything from the streets. This location has since closed, but it was so fun. And again, I have to let you know that Mexico City, it just felt like any other city, and that was really good for me. Like, it was, I felt like,
I think being in the United States, right? Like, you just hear all this stuff about Mexico and it's not safe. It's like, oh, if you go to the resorts, it's probably fine, but blah, 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 blah. Like, it's scary. Everyone's destitute. It's just like
everything's the slums.
Right.
And those absolutely exist in Mexico City, and they exist in America.
Right. And I think it's that too. It's like, oh, well, that only happens there, and that's not true either. Like, there's more.
Yeah. So again, I'm just blown away by Mexico City so far. Secret Donut Society is just on, an urban street. It was super cool, super trendy area, but there was nothing that marked it. And so maybe that's why they went out of business, because no one knew about it because it's a secret.
Totally. And it was like, and I think, again, we were with, our new friend and her parents, and we're like driving, and they're like trying to find it. And they're like, I think this is it. I don't know. And so, because it was unmarked, and it was a secret society. And so I think that they were unsure, and we're like, all right, I think it's this.
But unmarked building, besides like they have like a glass, like, facade, but it was like a bathroom. So I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We go through a secret entrance, but before we went to the secret entrance, we saw the only marking or signage on this shop was the fact it had a neon sign that said, please do not smile at strangers, but the do not was turned off.
Aww. Which was like, that's just a nice message.
Yeah, please smile at strangers. And it was in English, because that tells you where we were. We were in Yeah, they were marketing towards a certain demographic. So we go in. There's nobody in there. It becomes more like an art installation kind of thing. Like there's you can't go up and order donuts. We're in this like
We're in a room. There's like static TVs, like old TVs going on.
some sweet wallpaper. There is a menu, a lit menu,
Yes.
but thankfully all in Spanish. So we're like, okay, we're home. So the things on the menu, there were donuts. They had names such as Mysterious Fun, Ed Hubble. There's a drink called the Dark Vader. Another donut called Count Grandoy. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a reference to something. There were other drinks called Miss Scott, John Milk, Mr. Potty. And then...
I don't like Mr. Potty.
Why?
I don't know.
What's wrong with Mr. Potty?
Maybe you drink it, it makes you have to go potty.
Like the front potty or the back potty?
I'm okay.
The most disturbing donut, though, a donut you could order from this menu, was called 11/22/63.
Yikes.
As we all know, the date when JFK was assassinated. But it wasn't like, I was like, oh, is this like a jelly-filled donut?
Yeah.
But it was like a cream-filled chocolate donut. I don't know. We did not buy that one.
What did we buy? Do you remember?
I don't remember. But we did order some, whatever we ordered, because there were a bunch of cameras. Again, we didn't see or talk to
Anyone.
But there was an old yellow rotary phone. We walk in, phone goes off, we answer it. You know, my Spanish is terrible. But we order, and basically they don't let me complete the order. They're not going to fulfill it until I say the secret word. And so they want me to yell, Viva Mexico, before I'm allowed to, like, finish my order. Which, amazing. Love it. I yell it. You took a video. What did you notice in the video?
Oh, yeah. We got to rewatch this video today. And I was like, I mean, Jordan's very enthusiastic. We're both yelling Viva Mexico. I look down and I'm like, is your fly undone? I mean, yeah, Jordan's just pants open for the donuts.
Whipping it out for the donuts.
God, I was like,
I will
hey,
say.
thanks for the ride, you guys.
Do you want to see my underwear?
God.
In my defense, those pair of jeans, I remember it had a loose fly. And so the fly would just kind of fall down.
I also remember that about those pants.
That's good. Thank you for giving me that grace.
Anyway, but that was a fun thing to observe that we'd
you.
never noticed before.
We order our donuts. A secret panel pops open. I have to throw my pesos in there. And then afterwards, a false wall opens up, or they tell us to go through a false wall, because there is like a disembodied voice that comes on. Again, we are also with our friend and her parents, or her mom, because
Dad's in the car.
Dad's staying in the car to not pay for parking. We go through, and now we're in that glass facade near the street, but we're in a bathroom, and there's like all sorts of fun like messages like tagged on the walls. I mean, we look like we're in a dive bar bathroom.
And we're like, are we in the right place? I mean, again, we're not seeing anybody. Like, we're all kind of confused.
But then we have to open up one of the vanities, one of the mirrors, and inside are our two drinks, which I hope we ordered Mr. Potty.
And our donuts.
And our box of donuts. But what was the box shaped like?
A fish.
Well, I guess it was shaped like a rectangle, but...
It had a fish printed on it.
And it said, it was like, keep the secret alive or something. And then that came with like a slip that had all sorts of things about the love of a donut and how war solves nothing, but fried bread solves everything. And it was just really nice. It was such a great introduction to Mexico City.
I thought that too. Just like it's like, oh, okay, we're going to be fun and creative.
And engaging.
And it was just like oozing with like art. And yeah, it was very fun and like a great way to start our Mexico City exploration.
So I will say, there's been, 6 years since we've been to Mexico City. With the pandemic, like there was a lot of people moving to Mexico City, specifically like La Condesa and Roma Norte, these areas, and they just continued to gentrify them. And I think one of the big problems is we have a lot of these digital nomads who are able to live anywhere. And so you get a lot of people, especially from America, going and living in these areas, and they're not contributing to like the taxes necessarily because they have jobs elsewhere and they're taking up these places. And so there is some criticism of that. Also, there's been like a changing food scene.
We had talked to somebody, excuse me, about
You're excused, Mr. Potty.
and they were not in Mexico City, but they were somewhere else, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like we live in Mexico, and it's so great," and like, and there was a bunch of people like them living there, and like nobody speaks Spanish, and it's fine, and you're just like living. I don't know. It is like an interesting idea, like right when you have that freedom to live anywhere, and yeah, you live in a place, and you kind of take advantage of the place, but maybe you're not really contributing in meaningful ways. So just something to think about and consider.
Yeah, so New York Times had a really thoughtful article a couple months ago that got me thinking about how that shift is happening. I think there is a lot of benefit to Mexico City. Like there's people who are bringing a lot of interesting like culinary ideas, but I think there was some criticism about whitewashing some of the culinary scene to match the desires, the desires that people who are living there who are not from Mexico City or not from Mexico might have. And so there was some criticism on that and how things are becoming more expensive.
Right.
Because you can charge that much. So those are just some things, we obviously contributed to it a little bit by only staying in Roma Norte, La Condesa. The interesting thing about Mexico City's like neighborhoods are like, the quote unquote like less desirable ones. I mean, they butt up against those other ones. I mean, it's like it's definitely a patchwork. And so I think it's Doctores. That's where like their big Lucha Libre stadium is. I think that one gets kind of sketchy. Unfortunately, we didn't go to a Lucha Libre match because we already did one that was really great in Guadalajara. But we were close to it. But yeah, that one, it was like, after nightfall, if you're not from there, like definitely like leave the stadium, get out. So this was probably, for me, like one of the most impactful, important, emotional trips. It was like the first big one for me after coming back from Asia. This is before we went to Europe. And so in terms of us just kind of like being on our own in this massive place that has so much going on, again, like we said, largest metro in the world. I mean, I definitely was, I was a little freaked out a little bit to go. I was ready to take up that challenge. But yeah, I definitely probably did too much research about like how not to stand out, how not to look like a tourist, even though.
Well, I think you did some research to like help your anxiety and do what you have to do to feel like you are safe. And it's like, I mean, even like you reading something and everyone's like, oh, you can go to this Lucha Libre thing, but you need to get out of there like ASAP. And it's like, is that true? Is that not? And, you take it with a grain of salt. And it's like, obviously crazy stuff can go down anywhere. I mean, yeah, you did what you needed to do to help you prepare for that moment. But in Mexico City, it's just any city. It's just crazy stuff in my travels that I've experienced is like anytime anybody got robbed or had a problem, it was because they were stupid drunk and it was crazy late.
Going down a dark alley.
You're just kind of, I don't know. There's steps you can take to just be aware. And I think, again, going back to like people are good. But sure, people are desperate at times. And it's like, clearly you have an abundance of money and I don't. And it's like, you're not going to miss this. Mm-hmm. I will say one of the challenges, and this is like when we travel anywhere, but I specifically remember in Mexico City is like, we had our Google Translate and we were trying to, we were connecting with our like, I don't know, Lyft driver or something. And, we had this taxi and we were like talking with this man who did not speak English, which is fine, and our Spanish is limited. And so it's like wanting to have that deeper connection and like, we are asking questions, he is responding, but it's like, oh no, you just
like we've gone off the script a little bit and I don't know how to navigate like the question you're asking or what you're saying. And so, I felt a lot of guilt and embarrassment that way, probably more so than any other place that we've been to. I feel like Asia, we got a pass for the most part. You're like, I am so far from home. Like, have pity on me. Europe, it's like, English is kind of a common language anyway. And in Mexico, it seemed like, we know better. We know that we should be taking these classes and be more fluent on this continent where that's like the second, like the one of the languages that's most commonly spoken.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely felt bad. I just had like, pleasantries down.
But isn't it also just around the world? It's just communication, and like there's so many other ways to communicate. And like we had a nice, pleasant time. And again, going off that like gut feeling of enjoying someone's energy and
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, right? And you're like, I can feel there's like a connection here, and even though there's a language barrier, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just getting comfortable with it, because in the end, you're not going to learn every language. And yeah, obviously, it felt like, oh, if we had studied Spanish more, that maybe we'd be able to like really have this conversation that we want to have. And maybe it gives some empathy to people that have moved here that are struggling to pick up the English language, that also like want to have these conversations, but there's that barrier because learning other languages can be challenging.
And I guess it makes it more difficult the older you get because of brain plasticity.
That's what they say.
So, kind of going back to my own anxieties about being in Mexico City, like one of the things that I had read was like, oh, one of the ways to not stand out is to never wear shorts, because apparently that's just not really a thing in Mexico City. And so I definitely, again, why I was wearing a pair of jeans.
Wow, the jeans that were blowing open.
Yeah, my blown open jeans. I was like, no one's going to know me.
Wow.
Yeah. So, right. So how did it feel for you to be in Mexico City? Like once we were kind of like comfortably there and kind of established.
I think it felt really good because I feel like my life motto is like, I don't want to walk through the world and feel uncomfortable or afraid. And so I like to lean in if I'm, if somebody's telling me don't go somewhere, I'm like, what'd you say?
Oh, really? Like when you just were pieced out to like Colombia and like deleted everybody off social media, including me.
This is a conversation for another day. But yeah, I think just I wanted to create my own opinion. I wanted to have my own experience, and yeah, because I think people are like, oh, like don't go there. It's like the people, it's not safe. And then it's like, for what comes up for me is I think about like, but there are people living there. There are lots of people that are living there.
There's 9 million people living in Mexico City.
Right, and then it's like, if it's not safe for me, it's like, is it safe for them? And like, I mean, yeah, I love to connect with people, and I think it's a big world, a lot of people to connect with, and we got to get out there.
And I think you and I, like, we, struck out on foot quite a bit. I think that's our favorite way to experience a city is to walk around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the ones, the couple things that strike me from our experience in like the little pocket of Mexico City we experienced was, one, it was so green.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was really like, and it felt just like old, historic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that there was a lot of depth in
Right.
Mexico City, and that felt really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we go to some newer metro areas, newer cities in like America. It's a little too sanitized. Like the planning's a little too like gritty. It's very square box, color in the lines. But yeah, Mexico City, it just had like a wildness to it. And I don't even know if that's the right word, but it definitely had this like amazing patina of its own age and confidence in like what it was, like where we were at.
Yeah.
So green. There were so many trees. I mean, just blew me away, the greenery. Just like walking these like city streets and then these like big magnificent trees. But then also like murals and graffiti. I mean, the artists that are poking around Mexico City are top notch. Like we saw, I'm going to call it the Cosmic Horse. You didn't love it because it had a huge dump truck.
Yeah. Hey, I said you and my dad could get these tattoos.
Because in the Chinese zodiac, we're horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, nay. There was a bunch of like, Frida Kahlo. And we didn't go to the Frida Kahlo museum. It was a decent trek away from where we were at.
only there a few days. We've already talked about that there's so much to do, so little time.
And most of one day half of one day was dedicated to us going to Teotihuacan, which we will save for another episode. But Teotihuacan is this amazing ancient city of like these huge pyramids.
Hey,
outside.
We're not talking about it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, yeah, but right outside Mexico City. Anyway, I really liked the park that we went to.
Do you remember the name of that park?
I would love you to tell me the name of the park.
The name of the park is Chapultepec, and it's not a tiny park. It's one of the largest urban parks in the world. It is twice the size of Central Park.
Wow.
It is enormous.
Enormously beautiful.
It's enormously beautiful. And some people call it like the lungs of Mexico City. Because as we've addressed, we're in this like valley, a lot of smog, a lot of things going on. So there's so many trees. And I think it was a part of like, this thing already existed, but there was a concerted effort to make sure there was a lot of green space to kind of replace the oxygen that's lost.
Yeah.
And so Chapultepec helps a lot with that. This park was ridiculous. Like it's about 2,100 acres.
Wow.
Pretty big. It has a zoo. It has
a museum.
Multiple museums. It has like a lake. It has, so the big museum there is the largest museum in Mexico, and that's the Museo Nacional de Antropología, or the National Anthropology Museum.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a minute. So the park, we're walking around the park, and eventually we get to like the jankiest little like, I don't know, photo op.
Oh.
It gave me Asia vibes so hard. Like I felt like we were in Malacca, Malaysia again.
I feel like it was like that, but it was also like LA, the like stars.
Oh, totally.
The Walk of Fame. Walk of Fame, is that what it's called?
The Walk of Fame. Huh. But yeah, we were just like, again, kind of like beautiful walking path, a very wide walking path with like beautiful trees. There's the lake. But then there's like the jankiest like Elsa statue with the horse that she rides from Frozen 2. But it wasn't the water horse from Frozen 2. It was like something that was ripped off a carousel and kind of like painted. There's also Spider-Man, which you noticed his shoes were kind of strange.
Wait, they were like Uggs.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Uggs.
You know what? Everyone's trying their best.
So that was fun. We also saw this older couple, probably in their like 60s, just making out hardcore underneath some palm trees.
Hey, anything can happen in the park.
Oh.
Well, I remember we were like standing. I don't know if we were going to the museum or what.
We were getting ready to go to the museum. Yeah. We
Yeah,
were just sitting down. I think we were having a snack.
Right. And like this like group of young boys comes up to us.
How many were in that group, do you think?
And there was like 7?
At least.
8?
I think they were prowling around the outside of the Anthropology Museum.
Right. And like maybe they were like they were doing something for a school project. We were trying to figure it out. Like maybe they're 6th graders. I don't know.
Because we definitely have a selfie with them.
We do. They came up and asked if we spoke English.
And I was like, rude. Way to stereotype me.
And then so that in school they had to interview people and ask a bunch of questions and asked if they could interview us.
But were they specifically looking for people who spoke English? Was that like their little mission?
I kind of think so.
What was going to happen if they didn't find anybody?
Well,
yeah, so we're targeted. We're clearly profiled. And so they come up to us. I'm like, damn, my pants didn't work.
wow.
So
Keep 'em
yeah,
away.
do you remember some of the questions they asked?
I want to say yes, but
I think it was some like demographic stuff, like what's your age? Where
are
are
you from? Yeah. But then it was like, what do you think the meaning of life is, or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah, I have that written down in my notes. So yeah, how do you go from where do you live to like what's the meaning of life? Like what are we doing here? What class was this?
Maybe they came up with those questions on their own.
Maybe they were curious.
I think there was like 1 or 2 that were like talking, and everybody else was just like hanging out.
Totally. You know group projects.
I do.
Hey, these two, they're really good.
Yeah, they got it.
Do you remember what you said? I was so surprised when they asked that question.
I mean, I'm sure whatever I said wasn't great.
What would you say?
And also I feel like we were trying to like converse back and forth, but I think their English was also limited.
Right.
And so, they're like, what? It's like, they're like, what's your answer? And they're like,
I should have been like, give me that paper. I'll write it down.
Oh my God.
Hey, Katie, what's the meaning of life?
To circle back.
Jordan, you were being so yes and.
Jordan, what's the meaning of life?
I mean, from a biological standpoint, it's probably to procreate.
No.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the point.
Well, you're not doing
You
that.
got it. Well, all right. So yeah, these boys come hang out with us. Then they disperse. They thank us. But yeah, they were sweethearts. I mean, it was very fun to kind of like have that moment of serendipity.
Yeah, and that was fun. And then away to the museum we went.
And then one of the first things you see going to this museum. Again, this museum is extraordinary. Like we've been to a lot of the world's museums, a lot of the great ones.
Great.
But this one, I think it was completed in the mid 60s. I mean,
it was impressive.
Extravagant.
There was this huge like water feature.
I think it was called Las Paraguas or El Paraguas.
And I love it.
It was just like this enormous, and I think it was kind of carved stone. Kind of in the like Aztec kind of motif. But yeah, it was like this big waterfall kind of thing.
Water raining down.
Yeah, that was cool. I feel like it wasn't super expensive to go to the Anthropological Museum. But one of the marquee things in this museum is the Aztec Sun Stone, which is not a calendar that tells you when the end of the world is. Mm-hmm. But it is this like enormous, beautiful work of art that's like 12 feet in diameter. It weighs 54,000 pounds. But apparently, when the Spanish showed up, because the emperor at the time...
When did they show up?
Early 1500s.
Okay.
So Cortez shows up, Moctezuma II, like the second, obviously.
Okay.
he believed Cortez was fulfilling some prophecy that the god Quetzalcoatl was returning and that he was there to like rule over them. And so that's why he had welcomed them.
Aww.
Turned into a slaughter, which is horrific. But then the Spaniards took the Aztec Sunstone and buried it. And so it was buried under one of the big like churches of the time, or like in that area. Maybe. Anyway, buried it. No one knew where it was for hundreds of years. And then in 1780, they were repairing the enormous cathedral, Roman Catholic cathedral, and they found it. And they're like,
hey, who put this here?
Right.
Oh, my God.
Damn Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they mounted it to that cathedral, and it was there until like 1885 or something.
Wow.
So if I could recommend a book for you to read, it's not, there's such a rich history of Mexico City, but I read just a little bit about it in a book called The Wonder Trail, which is about some sitcom writer who goes from Mexico all the way down to southern Chile, Argentina area.
What is this, free pub?
Yeah, it's free pub. I like that book. It was funny. But yeah, there's a lot of really disturbing history about this area. And, it is kind of like there's like a sad history, but it's beautiful that Mexico City has been able to continue to thrive and rebuild and have its own independence from it. Mexico City is one of only 2 cities in North America that was founded by indigenous people.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think the other one is? New York? Salem, Oregon?
Is it in North America?
Yeah, because that's what we're talking about.
One
of 2 cities founded by indigenous people
in North America. Anchorage.
That's kind of fun. Quito.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like at some point I did know that, actually. Okay.
So it's just really...
And I've been there. I've been to both.
So I think it's really a testament to the resiliency of like the Mexican people.
Yeah.
To kind of rebound from that and kind of take a lot of pride in this beautiful, flawed, historical city.
It was really interesting. I don't know, just museums are interesting, but they had a lot of Aztec.
They had a lot of Aztec stuff, and I think some of the stuff dated back to like the Mayans too.
Right.
So this is like the largest museum in Mexico. It's like one of the most popular. It's one of the biggest draws
because it's so cool.
I will say, so fun fact about the Aztec word, that's not a native word. Like the Aztec people did not call themselves that. They called themselves the Mexica people. And so that's the word that looks like Mexica, but apparently in the traditional language, the X had a she sound and not a h sound.
Oh.
So they call them that the Spaniards called them Aztec.
Oh my god.
Because we all love taking a name that the conquerors put on you. We're in India.
Yeah.
These are Indians.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Clearly.
Christopher Columbus was the biggest idiot. So, what other things stood out to you about the Anthropological Museum?
Well, as a
woman
and as a fan of the classic animated movie El Dorado.
It's not called El Dorado.
What's it called? The Road to El Dorado.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
El Dorado.
We own that movie. I watched that movie.
We own it on VHS. But I guess we own it because I married you.
That's right. So now we own it. Anyway, I watched it a lot. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, what's happening? I was like, it was very similar to that movie. There was a lot of similarities, and there's like a game that they play in there. And then I'm like, wait, this is real? Like, this is based off something real?
Come to find out, thanks to the Anthropological Museum, it's a real game.
So if you've seen that movie, there's a little game, and they're like hitting the ball through this tiny little hoop.
Like a mounted, it's
ring.
Like a vertical hoop ring, stone ring.
Anyway.
So that game apparently charts the like path of the sun and like everything that goes on with that. What was nice about the Anthropological Museum is that they did have a lot of that information in English also. Mm-hmm. And so it made it very, very accessible. Exactly. And so they had this, I don't know if something was lost in translation, but it was like kind of describing the game, and it was all
pleasant.
And then at the end it said, oh, if a move during the game was made that went against the movement of the sun, a decapitation was made.
And that's how it ended. We're like, whoa, what?
Like, wait, so is that every game, or is that like, you committed a foul and it's like, oh, instead of the red card, we're just going to take your head?
I mean, it's a high stakes game.
I think that was like, that's one of the hardest parts for me to like wrap my head around, like the human sacrifice.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, there was also one about like there was a lot of stuff about, the gods also, Quetzalcoatl. That's the only one I know how to say because I had to learn how to say it for a short story I wrote. There were other gods, like the mirror god to Quetzalcoatl. I think they did something where like they brought out a strapping young man who was like 20, and they dress him up like this god for the day, god for the day, and then
they sacrificed him for the cause.
Whoa.
Anyway,
one of the other pieces that's in this museum was this like big, beautiful headdress made of the feathers of the Quetzal bird. So we just looked this up. Beautiful bird, like this tealish kind of iridescent feathers. So this huge, beautiful headdress. It was like Moctezuma's headdress. I don't know if it was one or two, but this big, beautiful headdress, come to find out, is a replica. Why do you think it's a replica, Katie?
Because they're buried with it.
No, because it's in Austria.
What?
And you know why it's in Austria?
No.
Because Mexico's asked it back, and Austria said no.
Dang.
So, allegedly, it's like, quote unquote, like too fragile to move.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why is it there in the first
Right, I was going to
place?
say, how did it get there?
I think probably via ship. I think, probably. So, yeah, it just had like so many like beautiful like pieces of like temples. There were these big and like fantastic statues. I mean, just like so much was in there. And if you get a chance to go to Mexico City, obviously
you have to go
to Chapultepec, find the museum.
Okay, we got to move on. So also within this park, there's like a zoo.
There is like a zoo. A lot of big cats in this zoo, but it was like a free zoo. Like you just kind of walk around, you're like, oh, we're in the zoo?
We saw our very first panda.
Which I always hoped that I'd see my first panda in Mexico.
That's right.
So we didn't see it do anything interesting. It was just like
eating.
Well, that's what pandas do like 90% of the time.
Yeah, so it was interesting.
I like when pandas are doing things that make you remember why they're so close to extinction. Just like being bumbling creatures, like rolling around, like being, oh, I should be having babies, but instead I'm just rolling around. I guess I'm kind of like a panda in that way.
Oh, I should be having babies, but I'm just rolling around.
What is the meaning of life? To recreate. Procreate.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
Recreate.
So at Chapultepec, yeah, we didn't touch all of it, but yeah, there's like apparently a castle in Chapultepec. There's this like big
Wow.
lake with like, I think you could take boats out on it. But something else we noticed about Mexico, and this might be other cities also, but in Mexico they had these big, enormous letters, CDMX, Ciudad de Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had these massive letters everywhere. I got one of my favorite pictures of you in front of one of those letters.
Yeah, in front of the letters, in front of the lake
And you're wearing a poncho.
that I bought in Mexico.
Okay, so we went to this shop in Mexico City. Again, this was one of my favorite shops. Like, it was just like, the clothing was so well made. Everything was, the dollar was pretty strong against the peso.
I know.
We got our favorite little planter.
I know. We got so much cool stuff.
This planter is adorable. It's this tiny little cylinder with like little feet sticking out. And so when you put a little succulent in there, it looks like it's got hair.
We like things with personality.
And then I tried to recreate it with clay, and then I broke it. I broke the one I tried to make.
That's right. I think we should move on.
Like from Mexico City? That's rude.
No, I want to talk about the food.
Why? 'Cause you're hungry? You
May-
hungry?
Maybe, but in the moment, I was happy that we ate it and tried it. But I think now that I'm removed, I'm like, I don't know. And
Tried it?
I'm talking about a dish that you were really excited about
The delicacy we had at that brunch place?
called Eskimoles.
What? Is that kind of like Eskimo meat?
They're ants. Ant larvae.
Oh, and pupa. It's both.
Ugh.
So it is, I think.
It was good.
So it came in like a little like, I don't even know what it was, like a green salsa kind of thing. Or maybe it was like a chimichurri. What? I don't even know how we ate it.
Right. But
So it's referred to as insect caviar. We go and have it at this place for brunch.
Because Jordan's like, we got to have that.
It is a Mexico City delicacy. So they harvest these ant larvae out of like
The wild ant hills.
no, wrong. Out of like from the roots of like the agave plant.
Oh.
And so that's how they get them. But apparently it's like a velvety tree ant or something is where it comes from. But those stretch all the way from Mexico all the way up to Washington State. So
Whoa.
we could make some escamoles.
All right. Well, okay. But besides eating that.
No, I'm not done talking about ant larvae.
Okay.
For explorers at home, the escamole is considered to have a buttery, smooth texture. Some people say it's nutty, like a pine nut.
I've heard that without it being cooked, because we didn't eat it that way.
Without it being cooked, it was cooked.
No. At first, like without it being cooked, it's like a pine nut. But when you cook it, I had read that it gets like creamy and all that, like what we had.
I think we had like, it was, they didn't like, I think it was like a loose fry. Like I think they kind of like sauteed it a little bit. It held its shape and texture. I feel like it was really good. I was excited to have it.
No, it was really good. I was happy about it. I'm just saying, now that I'm removed, don't you ever feel that way? Like once you're like out of it, you're like, ooh, I don't know. It's kind of like us in Salem. Like, I feel like when we're in Salem, I'm like, I love Salem. But when we're out of Salem, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to go to Salem.
Hey, Katie, we're not talking about Salem
I'm
today.
just saying, it's like
are we?
Eskimoles.
Wrong capital city.
When we were in Mexico City, and
Ciudad
it's
de
like,
Mexico.
we're like, ant larva, yes. But now that I'm removed, I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, but we did have so much good food in Mexico City, and we had that. I think their latte game was like way better than America.
Oh, significant. Anyway, we're not talking about lattes. We're talking about food. We also
Lattes are food.
All right. We had like cactus.
It's nopales.
Cactus.
So it was like the paddle of the cactus leaf, and they're like thick, kind of chewy.
Thick and chewy. We're not really doing a great.
They would, kind of like sear it, kind of like roasted.
Mm-hmm.
God, they were good.
It
was like
good.
nopales and steak. Like that was a thing that we had a lot of.
I know.
We didn't have too many churros, but we were in this like big market that had like live music playing. There was like a living wall behind them of like plants that were going on. We had the steak and nopales there. There was like a churro factory right next to it. And probably one of the coolest bathrooms I've ever been in. like next to the urinal, the like divider wall was like lit. It was like someone had taken a giant light bright and made a rooster. Like that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you could have experienced that urinal.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't for me to experience.
But we also ate, I think, a ton of bread. Like a lot of pastries were going on.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like Ciudad de Mexico was so
Delicious.
delicious and so much more than I was anticipating.
Right.
And
Yeah, no.
yeah, I think, I mean, don't take our word for it.
Yeah, go yourself.
That's right.
And then, like, the first night we got there was a restaurant that was like a couple blocks away. So we walked and we had some stupid good ceviche.
Mm-hmm.
God. And we had like a really good time with the waitstaff. Like, I think they knew they could play with us because our Spanish was terrible. And I think they're very much taking pity on us, but we had a really good time.
Yeah, I think we just had a good time in
And
Mexico City.
I definitely followed who I assume was a chef.
Oh my God.
Because-
Jordan was like walking down the street. I was like, oh my God, that guy's tattoo.
It was a chef's knife on his like.
He had a
back of his-
chef's knife. Jordan took like 4 or 5 pictures of this guy's arm.
I think we must have sent it to somebody.
I mean, I hope so.
I promise I don't have a thing for male forearms. That's not a kink of mine.
Wow.
Obviously, when we weren't eating, we were running around. And like I said, there was like, the graffiti and the murals, like just the art in Mexico City is something that sticks with me. And the colors of the buildings, it was just so vibrant and bright and beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really happy we went, and I'm happy we can talk about it now. And it was fun to like look at all these pictures that we had taken and kind of relive some of that. And it was even better than what it is in my memory.
I think we had the benefit of a really positive, like an abnormally positive, not abnormally, but like just a freakishly positive time. And that's probably not everybody's experience because we were going to meet up with someone that
Yes.
and he was going to come meet with us and like kind of show us around.
Mm-hmm.
And he got cold feet last minute because I think he was worried that there was maybe he'd be followed or maybe some cartel thing.
Right. That something would happen and it would put us in danger, that someone would try to take advantage of us.
Or extort us or something.
Right. And, and so that kind of sucks, to feel like there are those very real kind of life and death, like just really intense things that are a reality. And like even when we were leaving Mexico City, like when we got our taxi picked us up to take us to the airport, he was pretty down on the area and like just said it's like not safe, or that it was, I think he was like, nah, it's good you guys are leaving.
It's probably a good place to visit, but yeah, it's good. You're out of here. Which was strange because like every other like taxi person we'd interacted with was like so positive and bubbly.
Yeah, I mean, this was like literally like the one and only person we talked to who was, yeah, just it was a little somber way to end. But I mean, it's just reality. As in, like, you could have that here. It's everywhere, and it's like based on your own experiences. And
I think maybe the safeguards that are protecting, American cities from that are maybe not present as much in Mexico City or just in Mexico.
right.
So yeah, I mean, I think there was that on the peripheral in our Mexico City trip. Like, I don't think we ever were in a position where we felt threatened at all. And so that's the hard part. Is like we had such a good time and it was so unbelievably upbeat and positive. And to know that those things were just kind of like happening on the outskirts of our experience, I think that's the hard part now. Because like I looked at all that and I was like, dude, I want to go back today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I would love to live there. But I'm like, I don't know. Would I? I don't know.
Well, I guess that's something you'll have to figure out. But right, we went pre-pandemic also.
Right.
And like, no doubt people have changed and like places have changed and the world took a beating, and I think just people did, and we are still on the recovery, and it seems And maybe we're not going to recover. Maybe it's just like, it just changed people and society and these things, but I'm happy we were able to go and experience. And I think also just like the warmth of people and people were excited we were visiting and like experiencing their city and their culture and that's what I take away when we travel. Is like people are very proud of where they're from. And that's what I like. I'm like, yeah, show me the good stuff, right? Like, yeah, whatever. I just want to know about.
And it's like, why are you here? Why do you stay? I mean, because obviously one of the discourses that happens in like American news is like, everybody in Mexico wants to come here. And you're like, no, they don't. Like, they have like great businesses, great jobs. Like, they have a nice like quality like standard of living, like the way they're living. And it was,
oh yeah, I mean,
at least the places that we saw and experienced.
Totally. And it's like, right, this is not an everywhere. I mean, it's just whatever. You can't say that about any place in the world, really.
God, I loved Mexico City. And so we went to that place where we got you that sweet poncho. They had also gifted us like a cool like, bar of soap that was shaped like a gem. And then we left it. We left it at the shop.
Oh, yeah.
And we were getting home being like, oh, we left it there. It was very sad.
See, that's why we got to go back.
So I think one of the reasons that going to Mexico City was so impactful for me is that one of my best friends through junior high school, and college is a DACA recipient. And I didn't know until after we were out of school that this person wasn't an American citizen, that this person came over, quote unquote, undocumented when they were like 5. And so they are not able to go and have the experience that we did of being able to tour, the Anthropological Museum, go walk around Chapultepec and see Ugg wearing Spider-Man. He's not going to be able to do those things in the current time. And I just remember having like a really, I think it was really impactful for like our relationship that I could share photos, share my experience of this place that is like his ancestral home with him. And I think it was like this. It was very bittersweet for him. He was like, man, I'd love to be able to do that. But for him, that's a one-way trip. And I mean, that is like such a bigger conversation of being like the humanity of it. Like, let people like free travel, like let them come back. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I mean, how cool that you were able to share that. I mean, even, if you're listening to this and like think about people in your lives and like, right, is there stuff that you could share? Like things that you don't even think about. Be like, oh, well, I just went, I went down to Mexico, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't know, like think about people in your lives, like, because you probably know others that if you really think about it, that they are not able to do that. Anyway.
So that's, I mean, more or less like our time in Mexico City in a nutshell. I do want to go back at some point. I mean, there aren't many cities or places that I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm not done here. Like, I think there's more for us to discover and experience in Mexico City. And I think that we are savvy enough travelers that I don't really think we necessarily need to be as precautious as I made myself going. Like, do I feel like I'm going to need to wear my blown out pants every day? Probably not.
It's time for shorts.
But yeah, see what happens then. But yeah, I mean, I would love to keep working on my Spanish. That's something that we've talked about at this point for years, and we don't really do anything about it. But
not yet.
But yeah, I'd love to work on my Spanish and be able to go back and converse even that much more and like at a deeper level and make even like stronger connections. But there's one other thing that I would love to experience in Ciudad de Mexico, and that was the jacaranda trees. Because apparently in 1930, the then president of Mexico really wanted to emulate Washington, D.C.'s cherry blossoms, keep that like cool capital thing going. but he was discouraged from doing cherry trees because of like the climate, the difference. And obviously, it's 7,400 feet above sea. There's just things are different.
Right.
And so he was recommended to plant jacaranda trees, which I don't really know what those are. But instead of like the pink blossoms that we know of from cherry trees, they have this like deep purple.
Yeah, they look cool.
And so, yeah, when you look up pictures of like the jacaranda trees of Mexico City, you're like, whoa, that looks cool.
Well, of course, like when we traveled there, I feel like we had just missed it.
Right, because we had gone, we went in May. So, I mean.
Okay,
yeah.
maybe not just missed it. But yeah, it's like an early spring bloom.
Bummer. Well, what about you? I mean, is there something that you are looking forward to experiencing or doing if and when we go back to Ciudad de Mexico?
Well, probably more time at the park. I would like to see the trees.
I'd like to see that castle, Chapultepec Castle.
Yeah, that sounds cool. More cuisine, more escamoles. I mean, I would probably enjoy seeing Lucha Libre again.
Oh my God, especially in Mexico City. Dude.
I mean, we had a crazy, crazy time watching that.
I mean, and we didn't even see like the marquee fighters. I mean, we were there, it was like a Wednesday or something. I mean, can you imagine going like Saturday night?
Right, when tensions are high.
God.
Yeah, no, it was wild. If you ever get the opportunity to see that.
It's better than you expect. It's better than you think it could be. I mean, it is the theatrics of it are phenomenal.
I think it's just, like just saying yes instead of being like, I don't think I'll like that. I mean, that's also like a mental thing, right? Where you're like, I already told myself I'm not going to like it. And
I'm not somebody who enjoys wrestling.
And maybe that's okay.
But how do you know unless you go and experience it?
I mean, yeah. Do I think I'm an avid wrestler fan? No. But
Lucha Libre.
But was I into it? Yes.
You just wanted to look at all those men.
Yeah. Well, what about you?
Well, like I said, the jacaranda trees. I think checking out other neighborhoods because obviously, like
I like that too.
My bias is to like stick around those La Condesa, Roma Norte.
You were trying your best to keep us safe, and I think that was good. We didn't know what we were getting. I mean, we had never met anybody who had been to Mexico City.
Right.
And
I still am not sure who we know that's been there.
Oh, well, something I did want to do, a different time of the year, is I wanted to be there for Dia de los Muertos.
Well, okay, so that is a misconception. I think that really isn't as big in Mexico City as it is in Oaxaca. Like, that is kind of where, like, those festivities are, more of a big thing. I think Mexico City's, like, started to adopt it more.
Even just, like, being in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos. Just
Which
anywhere.
we just missed it,
We just
Katie.
missed it, so...
So where was this information?
It's in my heart.
Well,
but now I voiced it.
Something that we did do like a taste of, but I didn't fully commit to because of my own insecurities, is we went to Mama Rumba. We went to a dance class in Mexico City.
Whoa, I forgot all about that.
So we go to this dance class. It was in like the backside of like a tavern or a bar or something, right?
I think it was upstairs, but yes.
Okay, upstairs. Obviously, all the instructions were in Spanish. I'm quite lost with the dance steps. And, it was one of those things where like you were to rotate your partners. And I was like, I want to stay with Katie. I do think I had a bad habit of being very uncomfortable, but trying to put on a good face for you. Being like, yeah, I am tough. I am a traveler. I do feel like I'm more that now. But yeah, I feel like we definitely pieced out early. And I wish we would have stayed and done more. And maybe even like, tried other partners out.
Yeah, it's hard when I feel like we're also pretty tired. But
Right, we were at the end of like a couple week trip in Mexico already.
I think that we went and it was fun, but then we left. And I feel like I enjoyed watching other people dancing also.
Right.
But yeah, we could do that. We could do it again. We could do it
right now.
Do it right now.
Well, Mexico City. It was, like you said, I think even a stronger, more positive memory looking at those photos.
Yeah, it was nice to just revisit that and just remember how vibrant the city was and the people were, and and just like the positive impact, I think it like a lasting impression that it has left on our hearts.
Right. I think about Mexico City all the time, like more so than probably many of the other places we've been to, actually. I mean, talk about a place that we didn't spend too much time in, only like 3 days, but like the outsized repercussions of that experience.
Yeah.
And my initial thought was saying that, like, I feel so proud of going to Mexico City. And I think I feel more humbled about going to Mexico City. Like, it definitely defied a lot of these, preconceived notions and stereotypes I had about what Mexico would be.
Right.
I thought I was going to go into the set of, like, Narcos or something, like, firefights, unpaved roads.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the fact that it was just this beautiful, gorgeous city full of vibrant, fantastic people, I mean, just totally blew my mind. And yeah, thank you, Ciudad de Mexico, for existing.
Aw. And sharing you. Like
Mexico City's like, thank you, Mexico, for sharing Mexico City.
What? Just forget what I just said.
I got you.
I just liked what you said.
Dear explorers, thanks as always for hanging out with Katie and I as we recount like a dozen years of travel stories. We want to hear some of your travel stories. So if you'd like to either orate with your voice and your heart, or orate with your fingers, because as we all know, our digits can speak, send them our way to Exploregonianspodcast@gmail.com or Instagram @Exploregonians.podcast.
You know what? And don't be afraid. Have no fear. We want to hear
your voice.
Clear. I was trying to rhyme, but it just wasn't. I lost
that's
it.
so Seussical of you. Very Lin-Manuel.
Anyway, what I'm saying is send them in.
Also, to help us out, we would love if you gave us reviews. The little star thing. I think that helps. And if you comment on any of our platforms that we're on, I'm going to read it. And I'm going to read it on air.
Yeah. So you know what? If you're like, what the are you guys doing? We're going to read it. And it's fine. Whatever. We can handle it. Go ahead.
Well, Michelle.
Tell the truth.
Michelle, why did you say, what the are you guys talking about?
Okay. Anyway.
Let's do something else next week. Let's get out of Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah, let's go somewhere closer to home.
Do you want to go, like, to the neighbor's house?
Not that close.
You want to go closer? You want to go to our house? Next week, we talk about our house. In the middle of the street. Our house.
I love that song. Okay.
Where are we going?
We're going to go down the road for us.
It is literally.
Don't tell everybody where we're at.
Oh, our address is.
We are going to go somewhere outside of Tillamook, and it's the Bay Ocean Peninsula.
I think some people would say that's still like in Tillamook. The Bay Ocean Peninsula. Some people call it the Spit.
Anyway, we're talking because there's
we're talking Spit.
There's a lot going on there.
We're gonna shoot the Spit next week. Yeah. All right. So hang on, grab a bike, and we're gonna shoot the Spit.
Great. Spitting all the way.
Doo-da. In the middle of the street, spitting all the way.
No.
All right, explorers. Have a nice week.
Have a day. Listen as we talk shop. We shop talk. We shop till we drop. That's not true. Listen as we talk shop. Shop the shop. Talk the shop.
Shoot the shit.